In this episode, we're gonna focus on what to do if you ever end up in a terrible situation in any sort of pop-up game. So yeah, let's just get into it. So essentially, what happened in this game was I got heavy sniped and I lost a lot of my HP. Right? Since I lost a lot of HP, I had to either use up a lot of my heals or I'm not gonna have a lot of heals left. Right? Playing the whole end game with no heals and 125 HP, which is less than ideal. Less than ideal. But you'll see what I did to try to overcome that situation. So you'll notice that I'm actually changing up my situation here. I'm gonna first talk about this. So my original landing spot, right? My original landing spot was Dusty, right? What does Dusty have? Dusty has wood, right? Dusty has metal. What Dusty doesn't have is a lot of brick. Okay, the brick isn't really that good there. Dusty has planes. Okay. Dusty has mushrooms. Okay. What else does Dusty have? Dusty has good loot. Okay. Dusty has really good loot. Now guess what? I'm actually landing in Lonely Lodge. Okay. I'm landing in Lonely Lodge right here. Why am I landing in Lonely Lodge? Because it has all the things that I just listed. It has, you know, it has mats, it has wood, metal. It even has brick, okay? It's something that Dusty doesn't have. It has planes. Planes are right here in this base right here. Right? Or if you see this right here. The planes are right there. Also, another advantage it has over Dusty is that it's uncontested, okay? So it doesn't actually have a lot of people that go here, okay? Whereas Dusty is in the middle of maps, you're going to be contested because a lot of people actually go land at Dusty. It's very popular spot. And number two, it's in the central of the map, right? So there's going to be a lot of rotations coming from outside. Also, Lonely Lodge has a lot more mushrooms than Dusty, right? Maybe not as many, but the mushrooms are a lot closer together, so you can actually pick them up a lot more efficiently, right? And the loot's always amazing. So I personally started landing Lonely now, so I think Lonely has everything that Dusty had, so I don't really need to change my playstyle. It has a lot more things that Dusty doesn't have as well, right? And you're on the edge of the map, right? So you cannot be attacked by this side unless someone lands there, right? So if someone lands racetrack, they rotate in. Someone lands whaling, they usually don't rotate in because it just seems like an awkward rotation. Why would you rotate from whaling all the way here, right? It's way too far. And same thing with racetrack, honestly. And this isn't a popular spot. This isn't a popular spot. So really isolated. You have all the time in the world to get all the mats you want, all the loot you want, and all the shield that you want, right? So and there are a couple of rifts here too. I'm pretty sure, right? So Lonely essentially has a lot of resources, so I think landing here is not that bad of a choice either. But the same goes for like Westworld, for example, right? Westworld has advantages. Landing Scrapyard has advantages. This isn't really contested a lot. Has a lot of wood, right? You can get 500 wood pretty easily. Landing Edit House all the way here, because under my face cam, you can actually see it right here. But essentially, your landing spot has a lot of advantages, but it's not going to decide whether you win or lose a game. It's going to set you up to win a game. It's going to set you up to lose a game. But it's not going to decide how you play, right? How you play in the end game and how many kills you get is not determined primarily from where you land. So it's not that important, but just wanted to tell you guys why I'm choosing Lonely over Dusty now. But then again, I might switch back once I learn more about why, you know, something that Dusty has that Lonely doesn't. But at the moment, I don't see it. I see that Lonely has everything that Dusty has and more, you know? So, so I'm landing Lonely. I see, pause. This guy right here, you see him? Right? He's straight gliding down. He's either gonna land here at the mansion, or he's also gonna land here at the tower, right? Those are two options from the angle that he's heading down. That's what I look, but I also keep my camera on him, right? I look around to see if there's more people really quickly. That's what I'm doing. Look around by retail behind me. There is a guy right here. There's a guy up top. I actually choose to land a plane base because there's a lot of people, and they're clearly going to Lonely. So I land a plane base, pick up a gray burst shield. I'm gonna take the shield right now because it seems like we're gonna fight. Just making sure that there's no chest back here, because there is a chest spawn there. So I'm gonna take the shield, take the zipline into Lonely, and look for fights. I don't actually have a pump right now, so that is something I should watch out for. If I run into a fight right away, it can be kind of difficult to win any sort of close range engagement. So farming up mats, making sure that I have mats to take on any sort of fight that I run into. Still don't have a pump. So I want to talk about this for a second. What I've done recently is that if I do not have something, right? So let's talk about the different fights you can have. You can have long range fights where you guys are both built up and, you know, looking to fight people. You can have close range fights. You can have, you know, medium distance fights. For example, I don't really have any sort of close range weapons. I don't even have an SMG, right? An SMG, you can win a close range encounter if you don't have a shotgun, if you have an SMG. But I don't have either. So what am I going to do? I'm going to try to avoid going really, really close to anyone, really, right? Because I don't have a shotgun. That's the mentality I should be. Because I don't have any sort of close range weapons, I should avoid close range encounters and sort of keep distance. I can pretty much assume that other people are going to have shotguns right now. And I should be assuming that. I can't assume that someone doesn't have something. I should be assuming that they have the whole full loadout right now, honestly, unless I have reason to believe otherwise. But anyways, I'm pushing up to the house because it's a common landing spot. I do see attack. I'm looking to get that because that's one piece of my loadout that I'm missing. So I picked that up. I hear someone right now, so I'm going over the top. I hear him again on this side, so I use my attack. I'm going to use my attack here to fight. Notice how I'm not building, right? And I'm not switching weapons. Why? Because this tack right here is going to accomplish everything I need in that close range encounter. There's no reason for me to hit one shot, two shots, and switch to my air. There's no reason. The reason you do that with the pump combo is because a pump has a delay in between shots. So you shoot with the pump and then switch to a spray weapon, right? And the reason you do that is because shooting pump twice is super ineffective. Like it's really difficult to do that and do any sort of effective DPS. So, but with attack, an advantage of attack is you don't have delay, right? So if you actually land good, solid, centralized body shots, you're going to do 70, 80, 90 damage, and you're going to have a lot of DPS. That's what I essentially did there. I didn't switch to my AR. Obviously, I prefer a pump because with FORTNITE, you can build, right? And pump build is one of the most effective combos you can have. Literally, it lets you get free damage on anyone you want, right? That's the reason why people prefer pump over attack. Right? Sometimes, honestly, quite honestly, in most situations, TAC can actually have a lot more DPS if this was a normal shooter. But FORTNITE isn't a normal shooter. You can actually build, right? So, understanding that and using the pump to get free damage where you can by shooting someone and then building so they cannot return damage back onto you is super effective. Right? And if you have the mentality of whittling them down that way, it's going to be super nice. That's what you should be doing. I really don't know what I'm doing here. I think I'm looking for a chest, but there is no chest here. Actually, there might be, because I hear something. Yeah, there is a chest. Okay. By the way, the face cam that's on your screen right now is part of the VOD. I don't have my face cam on right now. Don't even ask me why. I genuinely... I'm supposed to have my face cam on, but it's all good. It's not that serious. Okay, let me talk about one small thing here. Real quick. Okay. First of all, we heard someone. Right? Let me go back a bit. Even further. Right? Okay. You can't hear it yourself, but understand that I hear someone. Off to my right. Right? I hear someone down here. Instantly. I understand. I can understand. No matter what his HP is, no matter what sort of loadout he has, unless he has like Ghost Guard and some crazy shit. No matter what, I have the advantage. Why do I have the advantage? I have high ground over him. Immediately. About 2 blocks worth. I have 2 blocks worth of high ground. In any sort of build fight, 2 blocks is exactly the number of blocks you want to maintain high ground over your opponent, because this is really, really good for shooting them. If you maintain like 3 or 4 or even 5, your shotgun's not going to do any sort of damage, and they can, you know, break you down. This is bad. If you're like 1 block, if you're 1 block above them, they can do a retake, because you're not that far above them, right? It's super easy to do a retake. But if you're 2 blocks above them, right, then it's super easy to defend against a retake, not take fall damage when you're, you know, getting broken down, and do effective damage with your shotgun. That's why it's really, really good to be on the cliff while I hurt him. That's what I like. But the bad thing is he reacted quicker, so we're even out right now. And I Harry Potted myself. That was pretty bad. But again, now I'm 2 blocks above him. Some reason, I really don't understand why, to be honest. I don't know why he gave up high ground like that easily. But yeah. Also, notice that I understood that he was breaking it down, right? He was obviously breaking it down. I heard him breaking down the structure, but I let him. I let him do that, right? It's fine because I don't take fall damage. I don't take really that much punishment other than falling down on the ground. And he didn't build. He was looking to shoot me for some reason. He really should have built. If he built, then he wouldn't have taken that much damage. But I just hit a centralized headshot pump on him, which did 110 damage, and he had no shield. I really do question him pushing me with the loadout that he has, with the shields that he has, because at the beginning of that fight, he had no shields. He had 100 HP. Right? Why do we know that? Because he's 100 yellow. That's what we hit him for. Our first shot of damage on him was 100 yellow, which means he has no shield at all. And so I'm just farming up right now. So I have, if you look at my mats right now, I have max wood, right? Max wood, amazing brick, right? Almost max brick. I can actually get this later on too, and you'll see where I get it. This is important for learning your place. And now I'm just farming up the metal, right? Making sure that I'm maxed out and I have 1500 mats total because that's the mat cap. Especially with the 40% mat gain, I should really be looking to max out as much as I can on my mats before I get into my plane, right? Because in this current meta, in my opinion, the best way to do things is clear your area, right? These are the steps to getting to late game, right? Late game's different. You have to do some stuff different once you're in late game, but these are the steps. Number 1, clear your area of enemies, right? Clear enemies in your area, right? First step. This can be harder once you're in higher points. This can actually be difficult, but if you die early game, it's not that punishing because you didn't actually waste that much time in the pop-up. Number 2, loot and farm, right? Farm mats. As much as you can. As much as the storm lets you do it, and as much as you possibly can. Number 3, try to find a plane. Or rotate by running. Rotate. Just rotate. Right? If you can't find a plane, that's completely fine. But in this current meta, this is what you should be doing. Right? If there's a plane area like near your area, you should be going for this. Right? But once, and I strongly believe that Epic Games is being pressured to remove planes entirely, this is just going to be the replacement. And if you don't have planes in your area, this is going to be your default anyways. And then number 4, you make it to endgame, right? You turtle to endgame, right? By turtling. These are your 4 steps to making endgame. Now, endgame itself, right, is a whole different story on how to win that, right? So that's difficult. But the first step to even winning endgame is to get to endgame. So this is how you do it, essentially, in my eyes. Now, some people may think differently and think kill incentive is nice, but I think placement points in the format that it is right now is super overpriced. Like, you get 2 points for top 10, 2 points for top 3, and 2 points for winning the game, and I think that's very easy to do consistently if you can turtle and have good game sense. Obviously, getting good game sense isn't, it takes some time to get used to, but you can develop it over time as well. So my mats are pretty good. I'm missing about 125 metal, exactly 125 metal, exactly. But the thing about the airplane area is I can actually farm metal here. And if you look at the storm clock, I still have about a minute's time. A minute says minute 30, but the storm's going to reach here in about a minute, right? So I'm just farming up my metal, making sure that I'm as ready as can be before I get into a plane. Because once I get into the plane, my strategy is just to fly around, right? My strategy is just to make sure that people die around me while I'm not at risk. So I can get those overpriced placement points. Max metal, max wood. I see this guy floating in, I laser him, right? Legit hit him 4 times with an AK, that's 130 damage, because an AK does like 43 damage per body shot, right? So I guaranteed, if he's at 200 HP, I don't like the way he flew in, to be honest, but he has no clue that I was in the area, so maybe that's why he's doing it. But he got punished for it. So I'm looking to see, why am I sitting here? Let's go back for a second. Why was I standing there for so long? Because we saw him glide in like this, right, with the rift. Glided in like this, in between the trees with the rift. Now, based on this storm right here, right, with this storm up in the minimap, what does he have to do? He's going to have to rotate like this, right? He's going to have to eventually, if not now, he's going to do it later. He's going to show up like this with we hit him for 130, right? So 70 HP plus maybe minis, I don't know, right? What is that going to be? It's going to be 125 HP, 120 HP-ish, right? Yeah, it's going to be 120 HP. He's going to be at 120 HP. That's three tap AKs. I can literally just 3 tap him once he shows up here. That's why I'm waiting so long, right? Because I can finish that kill if I need to. And that's also going to give me my extra point for kill incentive in pop-up. That's why I get in the on the wing of the plane so I can look to see him. But he actually stays in the storm. Now I wonder if he's actually staying in the storm because he knows I'm looking for him, right? I'm just looking out to see him. Guess what? We actually see him for a split second in the storm. You can literally see me right here. just looking at him, dude. But I can't see him nowhere, dude. It's really tough to see things in the storm at a distance, so I couldn't see him. So I just let the kill go, dude. I let the kill go and I'm just flying away. It's completely fine that I didn't get that kill. It's not a huge deal. The biggest thing is, even though, you know, you're close to... I give up that plane, first of all, because he's going to hijack it, so I completely let him have it. If you stay on that plane and he gets on the wing, you're going to get pumped in the head for 200, so it's better to just give it up. That's why I get out. I let him have the plane. But the point I was making earlier, if you're close to a point for a kill or something, there's no need to get tempted, right? There's no need to get tempted and chase kills just because you're close. Now, it may be nice, but eventually you're going to put yourself in a bad situation just because you think you're really close to a point. Instead of doing that, why not just make it a top 10 end game, get those top 10 points, and in end game it's super easy to get kills on people rotating. It's almost free kills, right? If you play end game properly. So I think that's what people need to be doing more often. So I see a balloon here. Obviously, my instant reaction is to just go get that balloon. Why? Right? Let's talk about the items that you can get from a balloon that could be helpful. Third 50 pot. Right now I have 2 50 pots. Like if I get a third one, that's even more helpful. Why not? Grappler. Grappler is a good item you can get. Amazing for endgame rotation. Insanely overpowered. Rift. Rift to go, right? Also, free rotation. Gives you free rotation. Let me talk about, real quick, in the endgame, there's 2 types of rotation, right? There's free rotations, and then there's rotations where you have to spend mats to get to your location safely, right? Sometimes you have to spend a lot of mats, sometimes you just have to spend like a mediocre amount of mats, but there's free rotations and then, you know, expensive rotations. Let's call it that. Rift to go is essentially a get out of jail free card. If you're stuck in a bad situation, you can use it and then use it as a free rotation to get to the next zone. That's why Rift to go is super powerful, because you can eventually, essentially, you can get 2 lives because of Rift to go. And if you get 2 of these, you have 3 lives if you use them properly, right? These are really good. And in the end game, you should be looking out for people who have these. If you ever see someone that has this, you should be, you know, and you're close to him, you should be looking to follow him in the Rift. You know, if he uses this, you should be looking to use his as well, because then essentially you have a free rotation. You don't have to spend mats to do your rotation. That's what I'm looking for. That's why balloons, or parachutes rather, are super good. You want to be going for those as much as possible. That's why I'm going for it. But I noticed something, right? I noticed a player that's going for it, and guess what? He's much closer to it than I am, right? I give it up. I don't get tempted. I give it up. Just because there's good loot in that balloon or parachute doesn't mean I should put myself in a in a bad situation just to get it. So I take a couple shots, see if I can tag him, find out what his HP is. I don't tag him, so I don't even have that information. I have no clue what his HP is. I have no clue if there's, you know, third parties, fourth parties around. I don't go for that balloon. It's not a good play. Just because he's much closer to it than I am. And even if I wasn't, you know, even if I was the closer one, I would actually find it a risky situation as well, because some people would like to push you, right, no matter what. And he might just do that. Also, so I'm gonna build up to this cliff. This cliff is really nice. It's it's inside the zone rather, and I think it's a really good position to turtle up and just wait for people. But there's a plane, and it just tags me for 60 shield. 60 shield. So I'm hurt right now. Biggest priorities right now should just be getting off a shield. But unfortunately, that doesn't happen either because the plane turns around and starts shooting at me. Notice what I do. I'm gonna go back for a second. It's super important. Notice what I do here. Now, most people, this can actually make or break your game. Something simple as this can make or break your game. Notice how I'm looking through the brick, right? I'm looking through the brick. The plane's right here, right? I'm already thinking he might be coming around for another pass, just like this, and looking to shoot me again because he already hit me for 60, and he knows that, right? I'm looking through the brick to see if he does that. Now watch. I see him do that, and I cancel my 50 pot. I don't get greedy. I cancel it, right? Because if I stay there and he breaks my wall and shoots me, I'm going to take even more damage, and then he's definitely going to drop on me, and there's no way I'm going to get any sort of shield, right? So I'm definitely canceling it. Most people would actually greed and finish this, and then get hit for like 70, 80, 90, and then just die because the guy's going to push them because he knows we're low, right? People aren't dumb. When they do a lot of damage, they're going to push you. I actually get tagged again. So I use the cliff, the natural cover, something that he can't shoot down, to sort of hide for a bit, and then I turtle inside. Try to get at least 150 pot off. Obviously, he thinks I'm low. I'm actually... Well, I actually canceled it again. I think I needed to be honest. So I'm turtling super hard, praying that actually a third party comes along and tries to save me. Because I'm at the disadvantage here, right? I need to either do an insane amount of damage to him with the unexpected pump shot, which is exactly what I'm looking for right now, right? Because he's not going to let me take a 50 pot. I'm looking for something that's going to swing the fight in my favor. Some sort of unexpected pump shot, which is exactly what I was going for there. I didn't find it. I'm just going to take my 50 pots and then even the fight out with the HP. He's at 200 HP. I'm going to assume that. He might not be, right? He might be at 150 HP. His actual health could be 150. But it's always good to assume that the opponent's at 200 HP because this doesn't, punish me, right? If I play as if he's 200, I'm not going to, make dumb plays. But, if it's the reverse, let's say my opponent's, I don't know. Let's say I assume he's 75 HP. It's dumb, I know. But, like, let's say I assume he's 75 HP, but he's actually 200. Right? This is his actual HP. Why is this bad? Because I'm going to push him really aggressively when he's actually super, super healthy. Right? So it's really, really good, even if you don't know, to assume that your opponent's 200 HP and play as if he's 200 HP. Once you hit him a couple times, and you see white numbers, then you can know, he only has 70 HP, 80 HP, or whatnot, But I'm assuming he's 200 HP. But I know my HP as well, so we're both 200 HP, right? So it's an even fight. I place a trap down, it's a really good tactic you can do, and shoot him out. And guess what? Traps do 150. I only hit him with 17 with this SMG, and the trap hit him for 150. So he wasn't actually 200 HP. But it's good to assume it, because it helps you win fights. Right? It helps you play safe. Right? If you have no information, you never hit him, then you should be assuming that he's 200 HP. So I turtle up. I build an extra bit of height, which I usually don't do, but I do it because if this guy ever gets on top of the cliff, I want to be on high ground, right? I want him to work a little bit harder to get up top to me, because if I'm only in one block and he suddenly shows up on the cliff, it's too late for me to try to fight for high ground. See how building up 2 blocks helped me now. Now he's super scared to fight me. Super, super scared. Hit him for 19 here. Just trying to scare him off, really. Obviously, it's good if I do significant damage, but even that 19 is going to scare him off. He's just running away. Trying to take him a lot. If those 2 shots hit, I would chase the kill. Right? Because I know I have a huge advantage. He has 100 HP, 200 HP, but I don't hit any shots here. Just looking to hit shots, but don't actually hit any. Now, my plan, he ran away, right? There's absolutely nothing stopping me and getting the loot down here from the first guy we trap killed, right? Absolutely nothing. So we're going to go check the loot, see what we can pick up. We're missing some brick, missing some metal, see if we can refresh something, right? This could make a difference in the late game. We picked up a lot of metal. Checking to see if he's brick, he's no brick. As far as I can see, right? But that missing metal that we just picked up could make a difference in the late game. Now, remember that turtle? I want to go back a bit. There's a reason why we're going back this way. I want to talk about the rotations. Let me go back a bit. I want you guys to understand why I'm going this way instead of the other. Right here. There's a turtle right here. Couple ramps back here that I didn't see before when I was going for that parachute. These are new, right? This could be a person. This could be a person in here, maybe. But this is guaranteed a person. I've seen someone move in here, right? If I start rotating like this guy could essentially act like a wall and just choose not to rotate and essentially block me, right? This is bad. Now, the guy we were AKing, right? The guy we were ARing before that grappled away, he's gone a lot of distance. He's given a lot of space, so I can actually rotate in his direction, right? That's one reason, because he's giving us a lot of space to rotate in his direction, and he seems super interested in rotating out, so I don't think he's really interested in fighting at all. And another reason why going in the same direction that someone else is rotating in is good is because he's essentially scouting the area for us, right? If I don't hear shots, I know he's rotating super, super well, and that no one's interrupting him, so he's not running into anyone, right? So it's sort of like clearing a path for us. Let me talk about this. Let me open the map here so I can show you what I'm talking about. So where was he? He was here when we last shot at him, right? He's going to rotate in through fatal fields into zone. He's going to end up somewhere on this side of the circle, right? What is he doing? He's sort of, if he doesn't take shots and I don't hear shots, or he doesn't get interrupted or get into any sort of build fights, he's sort of like clearing the area for us, right? He's sort of telling us that this area that I've just highlighted is safe because he just ran through here and no one shot at him. So this area, it's not guaranteed to be safe because someone just could have chose not to shoot at him, but it's more likely that this is safe than something over here is safe. We have no idea that what's in this area, right? We have no idea what's in this area, but we have we understand that this guy rotated through, and that this makes this area down here somewhat safe. This is a better chance that I rotate successfully through here than it is through here because I have no idea what's all the way back here. So that's exactly what I do. This is my rotation plan. Just like that. Because that's most likely, I have no idea, but this is most likely what his path looked like. I want him to clear the unknown for me, essentially. Which is why I choose to rotate this side. Because he's essentially taking all the risks for me, right? And I'm following behind him. Now it's important to note that this guy doesn't know I'm following behind him, right? So there's no reason that he's going to turn around and shoot at me. And he's actually super far ahead. He's actually very, very far ahead. Because we took the time to loot up. Right? Again, this is not a fail-safe way to know. It doesn't mean that no one's in this area. But it does mean that it's a lot more safe than, than the other alternative route that we've highlighted. We saw a turtle back there. Notice how I'm continuously looking back to see if someone opens a window. I don't know if someone's in there or not, but I'm going to assume there is. It's always good to assume the more dangerous situation because it means that you're playing safer, right? So I'm looking back 4 or 5 times just to make sure someone doesn't open a window and shoot at me. So I'm using his route, or what I think his route is, right? I'm using his route to maintain safety. I'm using the wheat fields to rotate without building at all because no one can see me, and it's really hard to shoot through that. I'm looking left and right. We understand. Okay, we understand. There's a guy up here, and we actually had a clear shot. I did see him. I saw him really, really well. We had an easy clear shot. Why didn't we take it? Because he's on high ground right now. Right? If we take it right now, he doesn't notice us. By the way, he doesn't notice us at this point in time. If we take it, he has high ground, and if by the way, having high ground, even if you're not gonna push him, right, is still an advantage because he can see more of my head than I can see of his head. Right? It's still an advantage. And he has high ground right now. I don't want him to notice me while he's on high ground. So if he drops down later on, down here, right, then I'll shoot at him, right? If I'm like close to zone. But if I'm like still back here and he's over here, he's in my way of getting to zone, I'm not going to shoot at him. I'm going to let him pass, right? It's important to know when to shoot and when not to shoot because if I'm all the way back here and he's like right here by the tree and the zone's like behind him down here, he's going to act as a wall for me getting to the zone. Right? I don't want to shoot him, and I don't want him to, understand that I'm back here. So I want to. Obviously, my priority is getting to zone. But if someone's low and I shoot at him, I see white numbers, it's gonna be helpful. That's why. By the way, quick note. We see this guy. There's a guy running here, right? We see him, and he actually gets heavy sniped. It's hard to see in the VOD, but he does get heavy sniped for 150. How do we know it's a heavy sniper? The sound of the gun. How do we know he got sniped? Because we saw a blue explosion around him, right? We saw him get hit. There's an effect of it. So we're just building a wall to get to zone quickly. We saw a shot come in, so I try to react quickly. I'm very, very close to zone. I'm not perfectly in it, but I'm very, very close to zone. Okay, so I turtle up on the side of the mountain. Now, why is the side of the mountain better than turtling up? Like, for example, like right here. Why is that better than turtling up right here? Right? Why is that? That's a terrible box. You ignore that. Okay? Why is that better than right here? Because number one, you're up against the side of the mountain. So anyone who's up top, and by the way, we do know that someone's up top because we heard shooting. Anyone who's up top can't hit us. He can't RPG, he can't AR, he can't do anything to us unless he just walks right up to the side of the mountain and looks straight down. Right? He has to look straight down at us to do any sort of damage. Now, two things. Why would he look straight down and shoot at us when he has so many other targets spread across, that are easier angles to look at? He can look this way, he can look this way, any sort of targets, right? But looking at me is super hard for him. That's why it sort of provides safety from any sort of high ground threats that I have. Right? And number two, if I was this is kind of weird, but if I was a little bit higher up on the mountain and built like a box like over here, right? Built my turtle up here, people would really like if they find it hard to shoot up at me, right? Because I'm sort of like against the mountain, and it also covers, you know, one side of the mountain, so I don't have to worry about my left side, right? I'm never gonna get shot from my left side, and for the reasons I talked about before, I'm never gonna shot from up top. It's almost guaranteed that I won't get shot from up top because there's so many threats right here, one guy back all the way over here, and probably a couple back here, right? He would definitely prefer to shoot at these guys than shoot at me because I'm a really hard angle to shoot at, right? Now we got 2 points. We made top 10. Top 10 super good for 2 points. Really not that hard to get. No, it's just a waiting game now. 40 seconds. We wait. We don't move. There's no reason to move. We wait until we know where the next zone is so we can understand where we should move. Right now we have no idea where we're going to move. Now I'm building back here so I can find this wood, so I can have something to do. It is a small risk that I'm taking, but I have this huge wall to cover me from any sort of threats that I saw everyone else at, right? I saw everyone else like established like their turtles all the way along this side of the zone, but there's a wall like this that's covering me, so I can actually just go farm that wood. It is still a risk, but it is a calculated risk and a very small risk, in my opinion. Now, there's something here that I want to talk about. We saw a turtle right here, right? We saw a turtle right here. We saw people up top. We saw more turtles probably back here. There's probably people on this mountain. And there's definitely a second person up here. Because we guaranteed know there's 2 people up here. Remember the guy in the forest? He probably rotated in turtle as well. Now, what happens if we rotate like this? Right, this guy could choose to come forward and shoot down at us. This guy, potentially anyone. I don't know if there's anyone up at the hill, but we're going to assume there's people up at the hill for the same reason I mentioned before. You assume the dangerous situation so you make a safer play. There's probably people up on this hill, right? There's probably people back here that we don't see. And there's 2 turtles that we guaranteed see here. We're going to get pinched beyond our mind, dude, if we choose this rotation right here. This is a very dangerous rotation. Very, very dangerous. So what do we do, right? Are we screwed? Do we just give up? Well, no, there's actually a very sneaky and sort of creative rotation you can do by going like this. Right? You can build in FORTNITE. And because you can build in FORTNITE, you can actually do rotations like these. You can sort of skip all these dangerous, costly, expensive rotations that I'm probably going to spend 1,000 mats doing because, you know, 5 people are shooting at me. Look how aggressive he is already. Like, imagine what he would do if I ran towards him. Right? So I'm doing this rotation right here. Super safe. Most likely, you know, I'm gonna look up so I don't get shot from above, but I most likely won't get shot from above, right? Because what crazy guy is gonna think that, you know, someone's gonna rotate like that? Everyone's gonna think that this is the most natural rotation ever, and that's what I thought too originally. But it's a very dangerous rotation, especially for me. I was in the worst position to make that rotation. Everyone else was more likely to make that rotation. So I see the turtle back here. I was very surprised to see that, but I'm gonna make sure that I keep looking back so someone doesn't open a window and shoot at me, right? So I'm just guaranteeing that I don't get shot. There is someone in there. We just saw that middle finished building, right? So I'm refreshing my maps where I can, but making sure that I don't put myself in a dangerous situation while I'm doing it. Now, this is the game-defining moment, or what could have been the game-defining moment where I could have lost the game. This right here. Notice what I have. Okay, what do I have in terms of heals, right? What's my heal situation? 1 medkit, 1 mini. That's it. Most of the other people in this lobby have like 3 big pots, you know, 10 minis, because they fought each other, right? That's the sort of reward you get for being aggressive in the early and mid game by killing people. You get a lot of shields, you get a lot of loot, right? I chose the more passive route because I want to get to late game more consistently, because I think late game is the best way to get points and pop up, right? I don't have that good of, you know, setup right now, right? My heals suck. 1 medkit, 1 mini is horrendous. Because what if I get heavy sniped, right? What do I do? I don't really have much of a choice but to just take a mini and bite the bullet. Unfortunately, that's exactly what happens to me. I do get heavy sniped. And I have to take both my heals. Now I have no heals extra in case I do get hit again, right? Now I need to play safer than ever. I have no choice. If I decide to take, you know, any sort of risky play, I'm screwed. I'm dead. So I cannot do that. I turtle around the truck here so I can farm it with my metal, so I can refresh my metal. So it's basically giving space in my metal capacity, so I can farm them more metal. That's why I use metal. And second reason, right? I just got sniped. I have no heals. I need to be safe. So metal is the best option right now. Hit the brick so I can refresh my brick. Trying to farm what I can, right? And the more boxes you have, the more flexibility you have around your position. And the more you can move around, right? So if you create one box, it can be, you know, map conserving, but it can be dangerous at the same time. And I don't really have the choice of, you know, putting myself in dangerous situations right now. Not right now. With no heals and 125 HP, I'm probably the person with the lowest HP, you know, in terms of healing and the HP that I have right now in the entire game. I can almost guarantee that. This is a really, really bad situation, and at this point, I'm just like, okay, I'm going to do my best to just get top 3. I did not think I was going to win this game whatsoever, you know? But there are things that you can do, especially in pop-up, to put yourself in positions to win the entire game. Again, quick note, I'm looking back consistently to make sure that guy doesn't open a window and shoot me in the back. I need to be able to react before he takes his first shot, because if he takes a first shot and it hits me, I need to react preemptively to that, you know? If I react, you know, after he hits me, that's too late. I'm probably gonna die, dude. I gotta react preemptively, because people can hit their first shot. And with AKs in the game, that's super dangerous. So I'm building up to the hill because that's where the mountain is. Notice how I do an early rotation, because I can't afford to do a late rotation. Late rotations are costly and most likely will cost a lot of your HP and mats, right? Because people are going to be shooting at you from inside the zone because they went early. So I have to go early. I don't have a choice. Late rotations are good if there's a lot of people around you, but my situation was good because I didn't have a lot of people around me, so I could do an early rotation, right? There weren't people that were pressuring me, except maybe that guy in the wood turtle back there, but I was making sure that I was looking back often. Now, this guy's a sniper. How do we know he's a sniper? Other than, you know, like, looking? Well, first of all, he's moving very slowly, right? There's a certain movement speed that every player has when they're just running, right? This guy is moving very, very slowly. What does that mean? He's scoped in. When you're scoped in, you move very, very slowly. Slower than walking speed. So we can tell. And also, you can sort of see his figure, and you can sort of see that he has a sniper in his hand. Now, I can get one shot, body shot by a bolt, maybe. And even if I do get, you know, even if I survive the body shot, I'm going to be in a very, very, very dangerous situation. So I'm just making sure that I stay safe from the sniper, because I don't really have a get out of jail free card right here. I don't have extra shields. My shield situation is terrible, and I just can't afford it, right? Now, in a way, I'm actually pressuring this guy. This guy right here in the turtle, in the 1x1, I'm pressuring him. Why? How am I pressuring him? First of all, he doesn't know that I'm low, and he doesn't know that I don't have extra heals. He's assuming that I'm at 200 HP, and he's assuming that I do have heals, right? He assumes that I have both of these. He doesn't know that, right? So I'm sort of pressuring him, because he thinks I'm interested in fighting him, especially when I built up this high and equal to his height. It's important to note that if you're low HP and you act like you have a lot of HP by being aggressive, some people might not actually shoot back because they think you're full HP. They genuinely believe that you're full HP. This guy has no reason to believe that I'm 125 with no heals. He has no reason whatsoever. So again, amazing zone for me. Amazing zone for me. Because I'm the closest to the zone in comparison to everyone else. And I can just follow along with the storm as it pushes along. Pulls back to the zone right here. So I'm actually very happy that I got pretty lucky with the zone, because I don't really have that kind of a situation if the zone's on the other side of the map, right? So I'm trying to get tags here, right? This is pop-up cup. I can get 50 HP back if I get a kill. I'm trying to get tags, see who's white, and pick off a kill. That guy's white. Now he is, rather. I hit him twice with an AK, 90 damage, right? I missed my shots there, unfortunately, but there's a guy down here. I'm looking to get a pump shotgun kill. I do. Now I'm at 175. Right? Now I'm looking a lot healthier. Right? Now there's two reasons. Obviously, there's two reasons that you should be looking for kills in the endgame. Three reasons, actually, right? Number one, you get HP. HP back, especially if you're missing it, you should be looking at getting kills. Number 2, you get mats. Now, third reason, this is kind of unexpected, but number 3, when people are rotating, right, they don't shoot back, right? Why? Because they're so focused on building and they're so focused on rotating and getting out of the situation with the storm on their back, right? They're so focused on building that a lot of people don't actually shoot back, right? So this is the perfect time to take engagements. When people are shooting back, why not shoot at them, right? You don't take damage in return. The only people that are shooting are people that have good position in, like, near the zone and aren't being pressured by the storm. So I get another kill here. I'm decent HP, but there's a few things we have to know here, right? A few things you have to know here. Number 1, we always want to be looking at this number here, because this sort of tells you, right, how much pressure is in this circle. There isn't a lot. There's only 3 people left, and I know for a fact that I'm the only one on the low ground because there's only 2 people up here, right? There's only 2 people all the way up here. There's only 3 people in the game. I'm the only one on the low ground, so I don't have to look back here. I don't have to look back towards the storm. There's no one there, right? And I know all of that information just because I looked up this little tiny number right here, right? If you actually look at Vivid streams and you look at his webcam, right? If you look at his webcam, you see his eyes looking all the time to his top right, looking at this number. I guarantee it. Well, obviously looking at the storm too, but I guarantee that he's always looking at this number. Because it's actually super important. This gives you a lot of information. Why not, dude? I look up, both players are up here. I'm super safe down here. No one's focusing me, right? I can actually, and another point I want to make really quickly. Rotating down a mountain is actually super difficult. Super, super difficult. You know, you might think, oh, okay, I drop down here, place the floor, drop down here, place the floor. Well, if you're trying to drop down while avoiding fall damage, right? Fall damage. My shots, right? Because I'm definitely gonna be pressuring you from down here, shooting your builds and shooting at you. And shots from above, you're essentially getting pinched vertically, and you have to worry about fall damage. That is difficult. I'm telling you. So I one-tap that guy and one-tap this guy and win the game. Notice how we got heavy sniped, had to use all of our heals, got down to 125 HP, made a quick rotation, early rotation, and won the game. Obviously, this was a low point game, but I was in a very, very bad situation and essentially turned it around. So that's what I want you guys to learn from this. When pop-up cup settings are around, you know, and you can get 50 HP and you can get mats from the situation, you should definitely take advantage of that and abuse it, right? Make an early rotation because you can't afford to make a late rotation because you don't have HP to spare. You can't have other people shooting at you. And obviously, you're not going to always be in a situation where you can make an early rotation, right? Because there could be people pressuring you. But in my situation, I could easily make an early rotation. There's no one in my way, right? I could find a particular path that no one was in my way. There's no turtles nearby or anything, right? No one could pressure me. So I made an early rotation, set up camp in zone, and pressured everyone else who's coming in late. That got me kills, that got me HP, and that got me the win. Simple as that, dude.